Thanks for tuning in once again to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. I'm your host, QueenAhmadiyyah So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe. I'm sorry, you're already subscribed, you're members. But please go ahead and feel free to like the video. You can't share because it's a members only live, but please feel free to go ahead and like the video, okay? Let's get the likes up. All right, so with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. Hold on just a second. Let me put my overlay on the screen. All right. Now, with that all being said, let's see who we have in here. Okay. Tradinia, Mr. Hotel, Asada D, that Crazy Beach Aries, Claudette is in here. Mr. Hotel says, shout out to our esoteric philosopher. Thank you, beloved. Okay, and so let's get ready to get into it. Andrea Jones is here. All right. Ocean Soul is here. Aries True. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Juju, I see you, beloved. So today we're going to be talking about Tibetan Rainbow Body Ascension. Cassandra, I see you. Jonah. Nessa G. Some of you probably have never even heard of this. But you're going to hear about it today. Now, the funny thing about this is, it is hey, Aeon, it's something very spiritual, and you have to be very spiritually in tune and all of that on a higher level of consciousness to achieve this. But the thing about it is, well, if you achieve it, that means that you're no longer here. That means that you have passed away. Okay? Hey, Ladybug, if you achieve this, it just means that you've died. Because here's the thing. I want you all to pay attention because I know it sounds crazy. But the thing of it is, people who achieve this, they basically go into a state of meditation and then they pass away. And when they die and enter the spiritual realm, they're still in that constant state of meditation. So that their body that's left behind here on earth, the vessel, not their spirit, but the vessel that's left here, it is still warm to the touch, specifically around the heart area. And then it shrinks. It shrinks in size, but it remains like fresh, like someone who's still alive. Like no decomposition, rigor mortis, none of that for weeks. Okay? True story. And I'm going to show you the receipts. This has absolutely happened before. Okay, so let's talk about it. I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint presentation. Everyone, please take notes. This is going to be on your trivia. This is going to be on your trivia. And remember, you only have 20 seconds this time. So with that all being said, you won't have time to try to be slick in Google. It's not going to help you at all. That Crazy Beach area says, say what now? Yes, beloved, it's clearly nefarious. Now, I'm going to pull this PowerPoint up. We're going to get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please like the video. Thank you in advance. Here we go. Tibetan Rainbow Body Ascension. Now, this is part 1. Okay? We'll talk more about it tomorrow. So, have you ever wondered what it would be like to reach a very high state of consciousness, both as soul and body? Now, with the rainbow body of light, you can explore this higher vibrational state through a process of spiritual awakening, spiritual ascension, and connecting with the divine. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you all, this to me sounds like what it would be for somebody to go to the place they call heaven. That's what this all sounds like. Please pay attention. Now, the rainbow body is an ancient term for a specific state of enlightenment found in many spiritual traditions. It is the highest form of consciousness of both soul and body, and is usually associated with complete dissolution of the physical body into light. So the physical body, like the energy from your body, literally turns into a rainbow because of all your chakras. Remember, your 7 chakras are the colors of the rainbow. So once you ascend into this higher consciousness, this ball of energy and light, like a rainbow, emanates from you. Like someone can look at you. You see this person's hand on the screen? Someone can look at you and literally see that. They can see the colors of the rainbow on you. as it's starting to happen. Now, it is the highest form of consciousness of both soul and body and is usually associated with complete dissolution of the physical body into light. To reach this elevated state, practitioners must understand what it means to be in a rainbow body and strive to cultivate the qualities associated with this spiritual experience. Now, the rainbow body is an enlightened state of being in which the physical body and material world dissolve into pure light. It is considered by many ancient spiritual masters the highest form of consciousness, a union between a man and the divine, and a complete liberation from all suffering. Sounds like heaven to me. The rainbow body process covers both soul and body vibration ascension versus spiritual ascension, which is much better known and which involves only the soul ascension. Now, the Tibetan rainbow body ascension, or the Thukdam is what they call it, is a phenomenon that has captivated spiritual seekers and scientists alike for centuries. According to Tibetan Buddhists, hold on, let me shrink this down just a little bit. I don't know why this type's so huge. Hold on. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, now the Tibetan rainbow body ascension, or Thukdam, is a phenomenon that has captivated spiritual seekers and scientists alike for centuries. According to Tibetan Buddhist teachings, it is a rare occurrence in which a highly advanced and enlightened being enters a state of death and then fully disintegrates into a rainbow-like energy, leaving behind only their hair, nails, and clothing. That's all that's left. But what exactly is the rainbow body ascension, and how does this happen? Well, according to Tibetan tradition, the rainbow body is a sign of ultimate spiritual realization, in which the being's physical body has been completely transformed into a pure and radiant form of energy. Now, this process is said to take place over several days, during which the person enters a state of deep meditation and begins to emit a rainbow-like aura. As the aura grows in intensity, the person's physical body begins to disintegrate, leaving behind only the aforementioned remnants. But what does the scientific community have to say about the rainbow body ascension? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Well, it's worth noting that the phenomenon has yet to be fully understood or even explained by modern science. There have been a few cases of people claiming to have achieved the rainbow body, but the lack of concrete evidence and the often mystical nature of the accounts make it difficult for scientists to investigate and verify the claims. That being said, there are some theories floating around that attempt to explain the rainbow body ascension from a scientific perspective. One theory suggests that the rainbow body is a result of the person's body undergoing a process called resonance. Now, this theory posits that the person's body becomes attuned to a particular frequency, causing their physical matter to vibrate at such a high frequency that it becomes energy. Okay, they literally just turn into a ball of energy. Another theory suggests that the rainbow body is the result of a person's consciousness separating from their physical body, allowing their energy to be released and their body to disintegrate. Now, this theory is based on the concept of quantum entanglements, in which two particles become connected and can affect each other even when they are separated by vast distances. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, hold on, let me just shrink this down just a little bit. This is what happens when you do this in a rush. Okay, now despite the lack of concrete evidence and the various theories floating around, the Tibetan rainbow body ascension remains a fascinating and mysterious phenomenon that continues to capture the imagination of spiritual seekers and scientists alike. So whether or not it is a real occurrence remains to be seen, but it is undeniable that the idea of the rainbow body has had a profound impact on Tibetan culture and spirituality. Knowledge, history, education, life lessons, secrets, and all of those things. To experience this level of connection to the highest spirit, i.e. the Most High, practitioners must first build up the qualities of truth, love, understanding, oneness, compassion, and joy as part of their daily practice. They must also strive for total mastery over their thoughts and beliefs, allowing them to observe all things from a higher spiritual perspective. Finally, with faith and devotion to their spiritual path, they will eventually be able to reach the rainbow body state, a pinnacle in the journey to ultimate enlightenment. To reach this all-encompassing state, adherents of the rainbow body practice must dedicate their lives to studying and understanding the divine. They must embrace teachings from various Eastern philosophies and spiritual traditions, including Buddhism, Hinduism, and Taoism. Now, thus, they must develop an awareness of their inner selves in order to move closer to integration with the divine. And as they achieve this through regular meditation and contemplation, they eventually learn how to sense energies beyond those perceptible in the physical world. Over time, the practitioner's spirit evolves and strengthens until ultimate enlightenment is achieved, when they become one with the infinite truth of eternal being. Now, the rainbow body concept is specific to Tibetan Buddhism. Okay, there are several traditions here that aim to develop and attain the rainbow body of light. Okay, in Dzogchen tradition, for instance, the rainbow body is the result of the practice of Toggle, a direct crossing over, among other practices, representing the final realization of enlightenment to the level of a Buddha at the time of death or immediately following in the Bardo. The energy of the subtle body is withdrawn from the gross physical body, and the material of the body itself is replaced by a body of light, or by the emanation of a Buddha. So this process is sometimes described as being accompanied by unusual meteorological phenomena such as rainbows, some of the non-standard shapes, colored lights emanating from the body or around the dwelling, and rains of flowers, perfume, and so on. Or from this rainbow body phenomenon, the name of this very high spiritual achievement comes. So I want you all to pay attention, because when this starts to happen, when the person does go into that meditation state that takes them into the spiritual realm, and then there's just their body left here, the body smells like flowers and sweet perfume rather than the decomposition of death that someone would normally smell when a person passes away. So to unlock the power of the rainbow body of light, it is important to understand prana and kundalini energy. Prana is the universal life force energy that flows through all living things, while kundalini energy is the energetic potential stored within a person's root chakra. Now, when these two forces combine and become interconnected, they give rise to a powerful multidimensional experience. When these two energies meet and combine, they create an elevated state of consciousness where the physical and spiritual worlds are one. This elevation of the senses allows for a person to become aware of the power of their higher self and connect with the spiritual realm. Okay. So, what do you all think about that? Because that was part one. Okay? That was part one. There was one more slide, but my PowerPoint started messing up again, started freezing up. So, with that all being said, I'm going to show you all two people that had the rainbow body. Now, they say, scientists that is, say there's no proof, but to me, this is proof. To me, this is proof. And to a lot of people, this is proof. Hold on just a second. To a lot of people, this is receipts. I'm about to pull it up on the screen. But first, let me tell you what this last slide says. I'm looking it up on my email. PowerPoint started acting crazy. Thankfully, I was at the very end. Literally had one slide left. Okay. Now, Claudette said mesmerizing. Miss Hotel said, wow, amazing. Isn't it something? I mean, doesn't this sound like heaven to you guys? Like someone, because listen, just think about all the things they say when they teach us in church, all the things they say we have to do to get to heaven. Okay, we have to be good. We have to be, honest, look out for your brother, be your brother's keeper. We have to be righteous. All these different things you have to do, right? So that's the same thing you have to do. You have to be a good person. You have to know about love and light and positivity and all of those things. Be in touch with yourself, your inner self. Be a spiritual person. Be able to connect with the divine source, the higher spirit, and all of that. And this happens, when this happens, you leave this world and go into the spiritual realm. Mr. Hotel said it does sound like heaven. Absolutely. And think about it. It's called the rainbow body ascension. Now, you know in the Bible when they talked about Jesus, when he, after the crucifixion, 3 days later when he rose, he ascended into heaven. That's what Jesus did in the Bible. He ascended into heaven. Okay? So that definitely sounds like heaven to me. Now, let's go to this last slide on the PowerPoint. Okay, here it is right here. And then we'll have part 2 tomorrow. So this one says, it is the heightened understanding that helps to unlock creative potential and access insights into life lessons. The rainbow body of light experience is a powerful tool to explore one's personal connection to transcendence, while also helping people to heal mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual wounds. Okay, it says unable to show screen shared. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, I don't think you all could see that. It wasn't letting me share my screen for some reason. But anyway, so you all get the gist of it. Okay? So now, with that all being said, I don't know if ScrewTube's acting up or not, but it's not letting me share my screen. I keep getting a notification. So hopefully I'll be able to show you all these videos that I want you all to see. Because on these videos, people are talking about the rainbow body ascension. Before we talk about that, I want to show you all, I want to read to you from these articles where this supposedly happened to some people. And I'm going to show you a picture where it happened to one man, okay? He was a Tibetan monk, and his body literally shrunk. They have the pictures of it. Here it is right here. You can Google this yourself. You all see that? This is him when he was alive, and this is him when his spirit, his soul left his body. Okay? That's him when his soul left his body. Pay attention. Because the person shrinks. You see, that's what happened. When the person's spirit and soul leave the body, after they've reached this level of ascension, then their body starts to shrink. Isn't that crazy? And like I said, they don't have rigor mortis, decomposition, or any of that for weeks. And they've said that when they touch them, the heart area is still warm. So I'm going to read to you from this article. And here's the person that I'm talking about in this article. This happened to him too. So he's the one this article is about. It says, modern proof that the death of Rangjung Dorji, the 16th Karmapa. So here's what they say about him. Let me put my spectacles on. As first world people, we like straightforward definitions and categories. But Tibetan Tantric Buddhism, which integrated aspects of the earlier shamanic Bon tradition, embraces no such view. Every instance of death with signs of rainbow body attainment is unique, and no one can accurately predict what will happen after a great master's breath and heartbeat stop. Generally, the individual who entered the meditation before death continues to maintain the meditation posture. They do not topple, slump, or display rigor mortis. The body, particularly the area around the heart, stays warm. This was recorded by medical science in the case of the 16th Karmapa, Rangjung Dorji, who died in Chicago in a hospital in 1981. Okay, this is like I believe the most modern information of this actually occurring. Now, head of the Kagyu lineage of Tibetan Buddhism, the Karmapa shared the same status and importance as the Dalai Lama, head of the Gelugpa lineage. Now, he traveled to the West in 1974 with a wish to transfer the teachings of the Dharma to places that it would flourish. Earlier, he had prophesied that Tibet would not gain independence from the Chinese and that the Tibetan refugees of the cultural and people's revolutions would not be allowed to return. The following account is from Karmapa's attending physician. This is what the doctor says, Dr. David Levi. He said that after noting indications of heart failure on the monitors, the medical team tried to revive Karmapa, but gave up after about 45 minutes. He says, we began to pull out the tubing, but I suddenly saw his blood pressure was 140/80. Now, for those of you who know about blood pressure, that's pretty normal. The normal blood pressure is 120/80. So if it was 140/80, it was scarcely elevated because you want to look at the bottom number. Okay, the bottom number was 80, so the blood pressure was pretty much normal. So a nurse screamed, okay? She said he has a good pulse. They couldn't believe it. This man was dead. The team members were incredulous. An older Tibetan Lama in attendance patted Levi on the back as if to say, it's impossible, but it happens. It was clearly the greatest miracle I had ever seen. Levi reported that 48 hours after the time of death, Karmapa's chest was still warm. He says, my hands were both warm, but his chest was warmer. If I moved my hand towards the side of his chest, the body was cold, but the area around the heart stayed warm. He also reported that there was no odor or decay, which typically sets in quickly after death. And yes, it does, because you see, with decomposition, the gases within our body, they start to be released. And that's where you get that very pungent odor of death, that decomposition. Okay, that's where that comes from the gases being released from the body. Now, he said there was no smell of death. Okay, he stayed in deep meditation for 3 days, then it ended. Now, ask yourself this. I want y'all to pay attention, because they said this is sounding like Jesus. I'm telling you, this is sounding like Jesus, the story of Jesus. They said he stayed in deep meditation for 3 days, and then he left. Sounds like Jesus when they crucified him on the cross. He stayed in the tomb for 3 days, and then he ascended into heaven. And this is ascension. I just want y'all to pay attention. I just realized that. I had a whole epiphany right here in front of your eyes. Pay attention. Now, goes on to say, hold on, let me find my place. Okay, so he stayed in a deep meditation for 3 days. Then it ended. He became cold, and the process of death began to set in. The atmosphere changed as well, says Levi. These unusual post-death occurrences are accepted as normal in the case of those who reach high levels of attainment. Because of this, Tibetans observe a clear precept to never move or touch a body for at least 3 days after the moment of death, particularly in case of realized beings and meditation masters. Okay, now the Karmapa was also displayed signs of rainbow body years before his death. You see, in the 1970s, Karmapa traveled throughout the U.S., giving the public black crown ceremony empowerment. Now, this teaching is given only by those of the Karmapa lineage and has been passed down to the present via an unbroken lineage from the early 1400s. So it's about the bloodline. Pay attention. Now, during the key moment in the empowerment, while Karmapa was holding the black crown over his head, an attendee snapped a picture. When the film was developed, the image of the Karmapa was transparent. The brocade of his seat can be clearly seen through the ghost-like image of his body. Those in attendance saw nothing out of the ordinary at the time. However, this image has been widely circulated since and is considered a vivid demonstration of the rainbow body. So I just want you all to pay attention. I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to stop it right there. I find this all very interesting, don't you? Okay. Jonah said it was a good friend of mine. A good friend of mine was native. So Jonah says, I knew someone that happened to. Honey, this probably didn't happen to them. You have to be studying Buddhism for this to happen. They teach this in Buddhism. This doesn't just happen willy-nilly. You have to be a very spiritual person. I doubt any of us know somebody that this actually happened to. Okay? I left my body when they operated on me. It was crazy. Yes, activated pineal. People, there have been numerous stories, not a lot, but there have been numerous stories of people leaving their body. People have out-of-body experiences. Now, that absolutely can happen. But with this right here, no, you have to be a special kind of person to achieve this level of ascension, honey. That's what you have to do. This isn't going to happen willy-nilly. You got to be eating clean, living right, being free from listening to low vibrational music, watching low vibrational things on TV, eating anything that is not healthy, and all of that, not being around anyone negative on a regular basis. Okay? Yes, Ms. Hotel said the depth of this is unbelievable. Absolutely. That's right. Dan said you got to be holy. Absolutely. You got to be righteous on this one. So, like I said, this sounds like what Jesus did in the Bible when you think about it, especially when they say he went into that meditative state for 3 days and then it ended and then death set in. Okay? See, when death sets in, that's when you have really ascended into the spiritual realm. Because they believe the person stays in that meditative state. And then it's like the consciousness is removed from the physical body. This is very interesting. But hold on, because I want you all to see these videos of what people had to say about it. It's just 2 videos, and then I'm out.
That there are hundreds of witnesses, even those from Ivy League universities, that have witnessed Tibetan Buddhist monks transforming their bodies into light. These monks are somehow able to shrink their body down to the size of a small child. This process has been documented extensively, and there are many photos online of Tibetan monks shrinking their bodies down. These Tibetan monks can even go into a sort of stasis. They will appear dead or even mummified, but are really, according to Tibetan experts, in a form of deep meditation. Generally, the monk who entered meditation before death continues to maintain the meditation posture. They do not topple, slump, or display rigor mortis. In the final stage of this process, the body transforms into light and can be seen as rainbows hovering over the horizon. What do you guys think about this?
Okay. Now, he said that they shrink. Well, the body does shrink, like I told you, but you know what I think why that happens? I wonder if that happens because, they talk about as people age, right? As people age, you become like a baby, like you were when you were born. Do you all ever think about that? How can I explain this? So as people age, they resort back, hey POP, they resort back to what they were at birth. For example, babies are born with no teeth and they have to wear Pampers and you have to feed them and take care of them. Well, when people start to age, don't their teeth often fall out? Okay, some of them have to wear Depends, undergarments, diapers for adults. You have to take care of them. You have to feed them and all of that. Okay, it's like reverse. It's like it's like towards the end, you go back to what you were in the beginning. So I'm wondering if the reason they shrink is for the same reason. Their bodies shrink. Right, that Crazy Beach Air said that Benjamin Button. Absolutely. Miss Hotel said Queen is giving us next level information. Beyond grateful. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so now let's look at this next video.
Poster that exposes every conspiracy theory on the planet. Today, we will decode the truth on Rainbow Tibetan Body Ascension. In the mystical lands of Tibet, a captivating phenomenon known as Rainbow Tibetan Body Ascension has mesmerized spiritual seekers for centuries. Tibetan Buddhism, deeply rooted in the region's spiritual traditions, teaches the transcendence of the physical body through meditation and spiritual practice. Highly attained monks, through their dedicated training and profound realization, can achieve an extremely deep state of enlightenment. Through their disciplined practice, these revered monks purify their body, speech, and mind, preparing themselves for the ultimate liberation from the cycle of birth and death. During their final moments, witnesses have reported seeing the radiant display of rainbow-colored lights emanating from their bodies. In some accounts, the monk's physical form either completely vanishes or leaves behind only hair and nails, symbolizing their transcendence from the mortal realm.
All right, so you all saw that. So like I said, we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. I'm going to do part 2. Okay, I'm going to do part 2 tomorrow. With that all being said, I hope you all enjoyed this because I know I did. When I was researching this years ago, I absolutely was mesmerized because I never imagined such. And I absolutely love this information. This is esoteric knowledge, okay? This is esoteric knowledge. And so, you know, in a couple of months, I just want you all to pay attention. I'm going to have a webinar. And it's going to be some very juicy information. But it's going to cost you. Pay attention. All right. You're welcome, Desmond. Okay. You're welcome, Jonah. Nessie X said I did. So with that all being said, listen, I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel. I'm sorry. You all are already subscribed. You're members. But please like the video. Wait for part 2 indeed, says Andrea. Okay, so we're going to get into that tomorrow, probably about the same time. Okay, so anyway, everyone enjoy the rest of this lovely day. I have an interview to do in a couple of hours, so I'm going to get ready for that, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Also, tomorrow, don't forget I'm posting the interview that I do today. Okay, this interview is going to be really interesting as far as I'm concerned. All right, Mr. Hotel said he'll be there. Okay. Ha! That Crazy Rich Area said this ain't no secret money in your womb-ish. I know, honey. This is not what Wig will be teaching. Okay, this is going to be real thorough esoteric knowledge. Okay. So with that all being said, I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives.